Urban Crag Climbing Center is a rock gym located in Dayton, Ohio, with 8,000 feet of textured and sculpted vertical terrain ranging from 28 to 56 feet. For more info, go to urbancrag.com or call 937-224-CRAG.
I'm filming. I have DCPD press passes. Let's go. Relax, 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 relax. I'm just doing my job. I have DCPD press passes.
Not anymore. Again, you're getting arrested. Get out of the park.
I was more than legal.
What did you think about the movie this evening in the speakers?
I really loved the movie. It was very meaningful to me, and I'm sure to everybody else in that room. They have the speakers here too. People who had actually participated in the experience in New York, and to see it, and to have a variety of people in that film, people of various ages, and to hear why they were there, and what it meant to them, and to be able to see thousands and thousands of people with an understanding of themselves as being a part of the 99%, and the impact of the very few wealthy people having so much and millions of us having so little. And before we even got into the film, we talked, several of us were talking about how this country, the United States of America, which used to be one of the richest countries in the world, is moving into a third world mentality, and the widening gap between the rich and the poor. And this film just emphasizes how many people feel that way. It was not just a whole bunch of unemployed people. It was not just a bunch of homeless people. It was not just a bunch of college kids who didn't have anything better to do. It was people who had jobs, people who had union members, people who had good paying jobs. But they felt that this movement needs to happen because we need to strengthen this country today and make a way for it to have a brighter future tomorrow.
You guys are talking about citizen journalism. If you guys talk to journalists from around the country as you've done this tour, I was talking to Jesse. I've had a lot of problems locally just going to do man-on-the-street reporting in different places and having public entities claim that. One case, they said, well, we own 1/3 of the sidewalk here on Main Street in the city. I had another situation with a college here locally where I couldn't get the camera out of my, I was getting the camera set up. And so I'm kind of looking at things like, wow, I spent 8 years in the U.S. Army, Army National Guard, and anywhere I walk in a public space in this town, seems like with a camera, everyone freaks out. Now, if when I had an M60, which could have obviously like slaughtered everyone, no one seemed to care.
Exactly.
So,
it shows you where we are in our society, where if you shoot a video camera, it's a lot more dangerous, it's a lot more hurtful than shooting a gun will ever be.
That's why it's kind of more attractive to me.
That's why I'm really attracted to it as well, but you have to understand there are some local laws, there are private property, that the private property owner, like a private college, has the right to tell you, I'm sorry, I don't want you on my property, I don't want you filming here without my permission, please leave, and then you have to leave unless you get a criminal trespassing charge. There are some laws in New York City where you can't set up a tripod, because if you set up a tripod, you're blocking pedestrian traffic. And I'm aware of those laws, learning from them, trial and error, going out there, speaking to the officers, but then also looking at the law books. So just look at the laws. The camera, right now, people are getting more and more used to it. There are no more secrets. And again, just like you said, shooting this is a lot more powerful than shooting an M16. Yeah, it's only going to get stronger.
Can you imagine, and I don't know if anyone's doing this now, we talked about it around here, we personally didn't have the cash, but some of these inner city neighborhoods where there's a lot of problems with violence, arming people with flip cams instead of guns.
I think that's a beautiful, excellent idea again, you can protect yourself. This is the truth. Countless of times, I even had incidents where police officers were calling in a fake bomb threat on me because they didn't like the banner I had outside a building in New York York City, and they said they would make up a false bomb threat and say I have a bomb on me to get rid of it. I got that video. That officer was fired for making those lies. It's a federal offense what he did, making up slander and lies in order to put me in jail and to harass me and to get rid of me. So having that camera, you have the light in a very dark room where you don't see much. But with that camera, you can show the world, you can show millions of people the truth. And that's the most powerful thing you can ever do in your life. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what uniform you have on. It's that video camera, it's this thing right here that will tell the truth to the world.
If you had any advice for a kid, you know, I don't know if you got to go around this neighborhood very much or around the city of Dayton, but it's kind of like pretty much the poster child for the Occupy movement. We've got empty houses everywhere, high in arson. To tell kids, you know, as far as citizen journalism, where would it start?
I grew up in some rough neighborhoods in Brooklyn, and a lot of times people are afraid. Get rid of that fear. You have one life. You might as well be who you are and not let anybody step on you and push you around. And I think a lot of people have been stepped down so much, pushed down so much, it's just difficult for them to think they have a chance to be successful and to get that justice, get that truth, get that accountability from their public officers. But I just want to tell them anything and everything is possible if you believe it. The power of your mind is so incredibly powerful. You have no idea what you're capable of until you actually dream. So dream as big as you can. Don't be afraid. Be confident. There's power in numbers. Of course, you're not going to have happy officers when you're filming them, but as long as you don't get in their way, as long as you don't go out your way just to piss them off, or getting in the line of in between police lines when they're doing a criminal investigation, if you're standing there confidently and they're messing with you and they're coming up to you, stand there confidently, look them in the eyes, act like a human being, don't disrespect them, make them show them how wrong they are, and show how right you are. And always have a backup with a friend in the back who's not visible filming you as well, because a lot of times, like I've experienced and I've seen, police officers grab that camera, destroy it. And also, you know, forget about that. Forget about even having a second person. Have that Ustream app, that live stream app, that quick app, that Bamboozer application on your smartphone that anybody could take out in an instant, film automatically. They can destroy your phone, but that video is still out there, especially if you use quick. So.
Yeah, how do you think this is going to change police work and the culture of law enforcement in the United States? Because like these people said tonight, there's no stopping it. You know, you can't stop a room full of people with smartphones. You know, you can't get all the chips. I mean, it's just, they're everywhere, ubiquitous.
They're trying to pass laws in many municipalities, in many cities, in many states to make it illegal to criminalize people filming. But it's absurd. It makes no sense. They have cameras all over filming us. There's no reason why we shouldn't be filming them. Again, if you have nothing to hide, I don't have a magic ball, nobody does. The only thing where this will go is up to us as human beings.
My opinion is freedom of the press means everybody, not just people with press passes. So to me, this is part of breaking stupid laws. I'm a big fan of Henry David Thoreau and Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi, that nature, that spirit of civil disobedience. And I think it's our job to advocate for our rights in such a way that when there's injustice, we have to cross that line and put our foot down peacefully. And I think that's one of the things that it comes down to. If I can't videotape you enforcing the law, then you are not in a moral position to enforce it in the first place.
Where's the end game of, you know, Occupy is going, they seem to have reorganized down here, a lot of the energy here locally kind of, a lot of people, like she said, a lot of people are like, man, all they're talking about is camping all the time. Everything's about camping, and, you know, we need to like work on these actual problems that are in the city surrounding us. What is the next step for Occupy?
You know what I mean? I try not to talk about an end game because to me, I want to see this go on. I think
it's a battle.
Social justice is the end game, and when's that?
Social justice is the end game. I think the end game is an evolutionary force. You know, changing the way that our system works to better represent the average person. Because I can't afford a lobbyist, so I need to get more involved myself. And I think of the many things that we could do, one of the first things I would love to see become a tradition in America is to have public places to talk to our neighbors. I think that's what scared the Fox. I think what scared the Fox News and the Republican Party more than anything else was that we're actually talking about our problems. They would prefer us to stare at the TV and not talk to each other and be scared and vote vote out of fear. And, you know, I badmouth Fox and Republicans, but the reality is that this never was like a protest against Fox or a protest against Republicans. It's just they're so tied to the hip with corrupt Wall Street finance that they might as well be running in a three-legged race at this point, you know?
What do you think about, I'm a U.S. veteran with a camera, and I cover local news here in Dayton, Ohio. They never, you know, they never mention this on the networks or anything. You know, events like this, and we do neighborhood festivals. I mean, look, government meetings, everything in between. But it seems to be, I've had a situation where it was near a bus stop downtown and here on a public college in an open courthouse space where everywhere I go to do like just basic man on the street reporting, I have police descend upon me. Wanting to know if I've got approval and permits, and you know, and we see these public institutions claiming private property rights. You know, any comment on that?
I think
it's
that
not just the Occupy journalists.
No, you know, there's an excellent author named Naomi Wolf who wrote a book titled "Letters to a Young Patriot: 10 Steps to Destroying American Democracy." I think that's the title, give or take. But one of the steps to destroying democracy was antagonizing journalists. And the reality is, the media is dominated by a few corporations. It's really a monopoly. You know, about 6 companies control 90% of the media. So you're their worst enemy, because you're taping things and disseminating messages that don't fit their corporate narrative of we need more cuts, we need more tax cuts, you know, we need more free markets, we need more privatization. When you bear witness and carry what is basically a loaded weapon, which is a camera that you can share with other people, that terrifies the hell out of them. And I tell people, you know, one thing that I think Occupy really blew the lid off was that the police state in this country is out of control. I can't understand that the guy whose whole message is economic freedom has no problem with them tear gassing his fellow citizens, you know? Remember that time that a Tea Party guy brought a gun to a protest? I didn't tear gas him. Not that I want them to, but it says a lot.